Pecron just launched this brand new adapter, and in this short video, I want to show you why I think it's really cool. So here's a closer look at the adapter. This side is designed to connect up to their expansion battery port on their power stations, and then you have two XT60s for the output. Now the reason this adapter is really cool is because it gives you direct access to the 48 volt battery inside the power station. So you connect it up, and then you can quick charge any other power station. So right now I have the E3600 charging the E1000 at over 600 watts. Now while testing this, I have noticed that you will not see the output on the screen. For example, we're pulling over 600 watts and you don't see that output on the power station, but the state of charge is affected. For example, we were at 98% state of charge when we started this, and now we're down to 97% state of charge. So the battery does recognize the power going out. Now there are probably a ton of different ways to use a cable like this, but let me go through one separate scenario. So right here I have the E3600, and this allows up to 150 volts of solar input. So if you have a high voltage solar array that works with this power station, but it's too high a voltage to connect to this one, instead of having to dismantle that array and kind of move things around, you can just connect that solar array up to the E3600 and then take the excess power from the E3600 and charge up the E1000. So that's just one way that you can use this cable to charge up other power stations. Now this charging adapter doesn't just work with the E1000, it basically works with any power station that accepts up to 60 volts input, because the 48 volt battery in these power stations gets really close to 60 volts. So you want to make sure your power station accepts 60 volts input. Now it's really easy to connect up other power stations that support an XT60 connection like the Anker C1000. If you look closer at the screen, we are charging at near 600 watts input. Now what if you want to use this adapter to charge your power station that does not have an XT60 port? Well, this is the Bluetti AC180. It has a 7909 barrel port, and this accepts up to 60 volts input, so it's safe to use with this cable. So you just have to find a couple different adapters. So I looked online, I got an XT60 to Anderson, and then Anderson to 7909, and then we can just plug this in and it will start charging. And within a few seconds, we are already hitting the peak charging input of the AC180, which is 500 watts. Now because there are two separate connectors on the end of this cable, you can charge two power stations at the same time. For example, we're getting 500 watts into the Bluetti AC180, and we're charging the Anker C1000 at almost 600 watts, all coming from the power station expansion port. So fast forward about 15 minutes and I've already topped off all three of these power stations. They're completely full. And if we look at the screen, we've only used about 10% state of charge of the E3600. We dropped from 98 down to 88%. Now the E3600 has the ability to take in up to 2400 watts of solar, and like I mentioned earlier, up to 150 volts. So the benefit of this cable here is that these three power stations all accept 60 volts input. So you can take the power coming in from solar on this power station and charge these ones up without having to mess with your solar panels. Now this adapter is also compatible with the EP3000 expansion battery from Pecron. This is the 48 volt version, and plugged into the E3600 charge controller, we're charging at about 1050 watts input. Now I also connected the cable up to the E1000 expansion battery port to see if it worked, and we also were able to charge the E3600 through the solar port around 1050 watts. Now just to illustrate, the state of charge is functioning properly when discharging for the power station. For example, we started at 100% state of charge, and now we're down to 95% state of charge with this 1000 watt load going out through the expansion battery port. Well, after these tests, this is a pretty cool device. So if you're looking to get direct access to the 48 volt battery in these power stations, you can purchase this cable. I'll include the link to it down in the video description. Now this is priced at $69 right now. I do have a 10% off discount code Pecron has given me for my viewers. So if you are interested in saving that extra bit of cash, make sure you use that discount code down in the video description. So pretty cool that you can use this to fast charge power stations or even power any other 48 volt DC device. So I'm curious how you guys would use this cable. Let me know down in the comments section. Thanks for watching the video. We'll see you guys in the next one.